included in this IMCI, and it basically focuses on major killer diseases among under 5 children like ARI, diarrhea, measles, malnutrition, and malaria. In newly born babies, that is, up to 2 months, from birth to 2 months, the common problems are hypothermia, jaundice, bacterial sepsis. Okay, and that's why, and above that, after 2 months, the common problems are, that ARI and diarrhea and all. So they have divided the children into two age groups from birth to 2 months. They are called infants, okay, and newborn infants, like that. And after 2 months to 59 months, they are called young infants. Okay, so but in this book, IMCI, they have the age group for newborn infant is from 7 days, not 7 weeks, okay, 7 days, from 7 days to 2 months old children are included. But you have to understand that nowadays IMNCI has been implemented, it has been started, okay, and all the children, all the newborn are included in it. So having said this, let's start our class today, which is from elements. I mean, now we have discussed all these things, benefits, and I mean the guidelines and objectives and everything. Now, what are the elements for IMCI case management? Now you have understood that IMCI is a syndromic approach management, and here we don't diagnose a case, we classify a case. Okay, we classify the illness with which the child presents to you. Okay, we call it classification of the disease, classification of the illness, because we are not doing any sort of lab test. Okay, we are just looking at the signs and symptoms with which they present, and we are trying to classify them, and then trying to treat them. Okay, treat the common etiology which could have led to that illness. So that's why it's called classification rather than diagnosis. So in the exam, I've told you in my first class also, if the question comes, classify the illness of this child, then don't get confused with that. Okay, don't start writing the classification of ARI or diarrhea or the disease. Okay, so what are the elements? Elements means how you are going to proceed. Okay, so first of all, you have to assess the danger sign whenever you meet a child, whenever a newborn comes to you. So I'm talking you as if you are a medical person whose duty is in the primary healthcare center or health post. Okay, or it could be district hospital, general hospital, because I told you that in tertiary level care centers, like in urban areas like NMC, KMC, we don't follow this. We directly send them to the we do the lab test and we diagnose, we have a proper diagnosis and we treat them. Okay, this is for those places where we don't have good facilities of lab. Okay, so first you have to assess the danger signs in all the children, okay, whoever comes to you. Then after assessing danger signs, then we have to look for the other common signs and symptoms to classify whether they have ARI, diarrhea, malnutrition, malaria, or measles. Okay, and then we have to assess your nutritional status and your immunization status. It is very, very important. If the child is malnourished, no matter how much you treat them, they will not be healthy. Okay, and if there is other problems also, we have to assess it. So after that, we have to, as per the signs and symptoms, we have to classify them. Okay, and for classification, WHO and UNICEF has used it color coded triage system. Okay, so color coded triage system is also used in the emergencies. Okay, in the emergency department, casual departments, where red, it means severe condition, yellow means moderately ill person, green means having mild signs and symptoms only, which can be sent back to home with the prescription, like that. Okay, so then after classification, we have to give the specific treatment. If the child falls on the red zone, then accordingly we have to treat yellow and green accordingly. Okay, but here let's see what color they have used, and then after that we have to see, okay, specific treatment given, and then then we have to think. Okay, so pre-referral and urgent referral, so we have to assess. If you are working in the health post and you think that the child is having severe anemia, severe pneumonia, then you can't manage there. Okay, the child may need ventilator, the child may need oxygen mask, okay, and other antibiotics and other monitor, I mean ICU setup, so they have to refer them to the high care centers. But before that, you have to give the pre-referral treatment. That is, give a one dose of antibiotic or paracetamol, okay, like that. Then medical, whether if not so, if you can manage, then you have to give the proper management, medical treatment. Then, if you have to admit that child at the health center, health post, then you have to admit and you have to treat. But if the child is, I mean, having mild symptoms only, then you can give prescribed drugs and you can send them and ask them to follow up after certain days. Okay, that is for home management. So accordingly, you have to proceed. Then after that, after providing treatment, I've told you counseling is very important in IMCI. All the caretakers, caregivers, okay, or caretakers, they should be counseled properly regarding how to take care of their child. How much medicine to be given, how to given, when to given, everything, and what food, nutrition should be given, everything. Okay, and if the baby is on exclusive breastfeeding, then what is the proper method, whether they are giving it not. And beside that, they also counsel regarding mother's health, because mother's health indirectly or directly affects the child's health. If the mother is healthy, then only she can take care of her baby well. So mother's health is also very, very important. And under IMCI, mother's health is also given importance. It's also taken care of. Okay, it's not like, in OPD, pediatric OPD, if a child comes, we only deal with the child and we don't bother about the parents. But here we do that. And then follow up care. Okay, like if we are sending them for home management, then we have to ask them if the signs and some symptoms persist, then when to come back. Okay, so follow up is very, very important. So after that, okay, so after that, this is color coded trial system. Like here, if and the three colors have been used here: red, yellow, and green. In your book, instead of red, pink color has been used. So I think in some places red, or in some places pink. Both is valid. Okay, I mean, both is acceptable here. And yellow and green is fixed. Okay, so RYZ coding system, red, yellow, green system is used here. What happens? Red means, I told you, if the child is having, if it I mean, a child is having severe signs and symptoms, we put it here, and accordingly treatment is also written here. Okay, urgent referral treatments and referral. Yellow, specific medical treatment and advice. Green, simple advice on home management. So classification also indicates the severity of the condition. So as soon as we classify according to signs and symptom, we come to know that whether the child, so we don't have to decide on our own. Okay, you don't have to decide on your own. If, see here, I'll tell you, I'll show you the chart and it will be clear to you. Oh, okay. So here I've not used the color. Anyway, in the book, okay, so this is pink, yellow, and green. So according to signs and symptoms, when we look at the signs and symptoms, when the child comes, we ask them, and we note certain signs and symptoms. So when we put that, when we search the similar signs and symptoms in the chart, we automatically we come to know that the child is having severe dehydration or some or no dehydration. So it's quite easy. Just we have to find out the signs and symptoms. We have to we have to check for the signs and symptoms properly. Then automatically, when we match it with the flow chart, okay, then it definitely, I mean, the classification will be there, and accordingly treatment is there. So it's quite easy. So it has been made easy so that all the health professionals working in the remote areas can follow them. Okay, it's not like, we don't have medical MD doctors in villages. Okay, I told you health assistants manage the case over there. House officer, if present, it's more than, I mean, it's very good. Okay, so the classification tables on the assess and classify have three rows. I told you, three colors, and this color of the row helps to identify rapidly whether the child has a serious disease requiring urgent attention, or home management. So, as I told you first, okay, when the child comes to you, obviously mother or father will bring the child. It's not like they will come walking by to you, okay? They can't do that. So, mother will bring the child to you. Then you have to ask the mother what's the child's problem are, okay? And first of all, then you have to ask the mother if this is an initial or first time visit or follow up visit for the same problem, okay, because the treatment protocol is different, okay, for the follow up visit or for the initial visit. And if follow up visit, use the follow up instruction on the treat the child chart. So the for the follow up visit, if the child is still having the signs and symptoms, then you have to follow the certain flow chart. And if this is the first time they have visited, then you have to follow the different chart, okay. So if initial visit assess the child as well, so if they say that this is the follow-up visit, you have to follow the treat the child chart. And if not, then you have to first ask and check about the general danger signs. Now, what do you mean by general danger signs in newborns, in under 5 children? So you have to remember this, okay. First you have to ask and check, is the child able to drink or breastfeed, okay. If it is they are infants, you have to ask whether their child is able to breastfeed or not. Or if they are 2 3 years old, is the child able to drink or eat anything. Then second question should be, does the child vomit everything after each feed, whether they are vomiting or not, okay. And third question will be, has he had convulsions during present illness. Okay, so during the present illness period, has he had convulsions? Convulsions means seizure. Okay, seizure. So you have to ask that, and see if the child is lethargic or unconscious. So you have to see. After asking these questions, you have to check whether the child is very fatigued or feeling very low. Um, looking tired or unconscious. Sometimes the child may present and they may be unconscious, and then you have to see if the child is convulsing at the time when you're checking them, okay. So involuntary movements, okay, of the body is convulsion, okay, especially in epilepsy, febrile seizure, and they have this, okay. So so if these three um signs and symptoms, these three symptoms, okay, and these two signs are present, then the child is having danger signs, okay. I think someone's mic is on. Please switch it off. Please check your mic. So always check for the general danger sign in all 6 children, okay. So though they seem to be normal, also you have to check for the danger sign. Then after checking for the danger sign, you have to assess for the main signs and symptoms, like if the child is having cough or difficulty in breathing or not, diarrhea, fever, air problems. Then assess nutrition and immunization status and potential feeding problems. Then check for any other problems. This is how you should proceed. So a general danger sign, once again I'll tell you what are the general danger signs in children. If the child is not able to drink or breastfeed, that's the first sign you have to ask whenever child is brought to the OPD also. If the mother say that the child is having fever, cough, vomiting, diarrhea, anything, you have to ask them, if the child is able to feed or not, drink or not, okay. If not, then the child is very very sick, okay. And if the second question should be, the child vomits, whether the child vomits everything or not. Okay, that is also another danger sign. Third sign being the child has had convulsions during the present illness, or in the OPD, or in the emergency. And the third one is, you have to look for the lethargic or unconscious, whether the child is lethargic or unconscious. Okay, you have to look for these 4 points. Okay. Then you have to, according to the signs and symptoms, you have to classify them into the pink or red row, or yellow or green. Accordingly you have to give the treatment. So it's quite easy. So see, in the book everything is given. During exam PVQ might come about there's common problems. So today I'll talk in in detail about one problem or two, but I will not, I mean, it's quite boring. Okay, I'll just try to go quickly, because I'll be reading the same chart. So it's better you open your book or PDF and go through yourself. Okay, and if you have any problem, you can ask me in the next class. Okay, that's the best thing to do, because now I'll be reading everything from the chart, and you will be sleeping at your home. So let's start with the assessment and classification of the sick young infant. That means age up to 2 months, from 7 days to 2 months, or you can say from birth to 2 months. Okay, it's not different. The disease, the problems that's they are discussed here includes newborns or neonates also. Okay, so first of all, you have to ask the name of the infant, age, weight. Weight is very very important to give any drug to the newborns or to the children. You have to weigh their weight, because according to the weight we give medication in the children. And temperature is very very important. And then we have to ask infants problems, and it's very important to ask whether it's their initial or follow-up visit. Okay, then these are the common problems young infants present with. Okay, possible bacterial infection, jaundice, diarrhea, feeding problem or low birth weight, immunization, and other problems. So first let's start with the possible diarrhea. Okay, so first, when the child presents to you, then you have to ask whether does the child have diarrhea. Okay, so this is after asking general danger signs. Okay, one by one we have to ask the signs and symptoms, measure signs and symptoms. Okay, so let's start with the ARI. So no, diarrhea. So if the mother said yes, the child is having diarrhea, then your next question should be for how long. Okay, and then the mother will say 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. Then after that you have to look and feel for the general conditions, that is whether he or she is lethargic or unconscious, restless and irritable, because this will help you to classify the illness of the children. Okay, if the child is lethargic or unconscious, the child is having severe dehydration, restless and irritable, some dehydration, no restless and irritable, the baby is perfectly fine, then there is no dehydration. So these questions will help you to classify the illness of the children. So then you have to after looking for these two general conditions, then you have to look for the sunken eyes, because you know that the signs of dehydration, right? The child will have sunken eyes, and what else? The skin turgor will be prolonged. Okay, so first we have to look for the sunken eyes. So if the child is having severe dehydration, due to diarrhea, the child eyes will be sunken. Okay, and fontanelle will also be slightly depressed. Okay, however, here you have to look for the sunken eyes. Then after that you have to pinch the skin of abdomen and notice how it goes back. So skin turgor you have to check. If it goes back very slowly, taking more than 2 seconds, or it is going back only slowly, that is less than 2 seconds, so that will help you to decide whether the child is having no, the will help you to decide the severity of the dehydration. So what is skin turgor or turgor sign, or simply skin pinch test? So it is a sign commonly used by healthcare workers to assess the degree of fluid loss or dehydration in the babies. So first of all, you have to lie down the baby. Then you have to locate the area on the child's abdomen. Okay, halfway between the umbilicus and the side of the abdomen. Then pinch the skin using the thumb and finger. Thumb and finger, you have to just pinch the skin between the umbilicus and the side of the abdomen. Then place your hand in such a way that when the skin is pinched, the fold of skin will be the fold of skin. This is the fold of skin will be in a line up and down the child's body, and not across the child's body. It's not across the body. It's um, in a line up and down the child's body. Okay, so like this you have to pinch the baby's skin and in the abdomen. Then it is important to firmly pick up all of the layers of skin and the tissue under them for 15 to 30 seconds, and then release it. So just you hold the skin like this for 15 to 30 seconds, then you release it. Look here, it's going back very slowly. If the baby is not having any dehydration, then it will go back very quickly within a second. Okay, but if not, it will take more than How many seconds? 2 seconds. So when released, the skin pins goes back either very slowly, longer than 2 seconds, like this, or slowly, that means skin takes off even for a brief instant, or immediately. So this is normal, this is dehydrated. Okay, this is how you have to assess the dehydration in children. For adults, you see the do the skin turgor test in the chest, okay, not in the abdomen. In children, you do in the abdomen. Okay, so these are, there are various signs of dehydration, but here we are just looking at the sunken eyes, okay, then the skin reduced tissue turgor, okay. However, there are other signs and symptoms anyways. So after looking at those, asking about the symptoms and looking at the signs, now you have to classify them. So first of all, if out of these four things that you have to look for and ask for, if two of the signs are present, then the child is having severe dehydration. For suppose lethargic or unconscious. If the child is lethargic or unconscious, or if the child is having sunken eyes, then severe dehydration. If the child is if the child is lethargic and the skin goes back very slowly, then also severe dehydration. So any, not four or three, okay. So they have put unconscious also together. So out of these three signs, if any two is present, then the child is having severe dehydration, and accordingly you have to provide the treatment. So if infant has low weight, so we are talking about the um up to 2 months old, okay. So okay, I think initially I did some mistakes. So young infant is up to 2 months, right? Okay. I don't know what happened to this. Yesterday I told you something else. I think in the book also it's like that. I've taken from the book only. Anyway, I'll clarify it later on. So see, you are talking about the infants. So infants may be having multiple illnesses. So we have, if the infant has low weight or another severe classification, like other severe classification means low weight or any feeding problem or any other, fever or anything, then you have to give the first dose of intramuscular ampicillin and gentamicin, one dose of intramuscular antibiotic. Then you have to refer urgently to hospital with mother, giving frequent sips of ORS on the way. See, so this IMCI management is done in the mainly in the health post and primary health post, not even in the district hospital and general hospital, okay, because they have this, I told you that whether you are in district hospital or general hospital, but the general and district hospitals, they have all the lab facilities almost, okay, but not all, everything, like in urban areas, urban cities, but then they have. So you are sitting in the health post or primary health post, you might be confused, like, you don't know, you have not been to there, no, so it's not easy for you to visualize. But once you visit the health post or primary healthcare center, you will realize there is nothing much, there are few beds, and only lab test that is done is routine blood test, urine test, and there is no X-ray machine, there is no ultrasound machine, and there are few medicines is kept there. Okay, very few staffs are there. So it's very difficult to manage severe dehydration, where you need to manage them vigorously. You have to give the saline water, you have to check the urine output in hourly basis. So then you have to, so that's why they have written refer urgently to hospital with mother, giving frequent sips of ORS on the way. So ORS plays a vital role in treating dehydration. In diarrhea, children die because of dehydration, not because of the diarrhea, okay, diarrhea itself. The causative organism will not cause death, but the severe dehydration kills the baby. So if the child is only lethargic, then you can ask the mother to give ORS on the way. If the baby is unconscious, then you can't actually. And if the baby is lethargic only, advise mother to continue breastfeeding. Advise mother to keep the young infant warm on the way to the hospital, okay, so that they will not go to hypothermia. Or if the infant doesn't, so this is when the child has severe dehydration along with other severe classification. But if the child is not having any other severe classification except severe dehydration, then you have to give fluid for severe dehydration according to the WHO Plan C treatment for dehydration. Okay, and then only refer to hospital after dehydration. So what is plan C? There are three plans, A, B, C, for treating dehydration according to WHO. That's also you have to. I think it's been taught to you in your third semester. I'm not sure, but you're also. I'll be talking about that. So if the child is only restless or irritable and sunken eyes is there and skin pin goes back slowly or not very slowly only, then the child is having some dehydration. So WHO has classified the dehydration like this. Okay, severe dehydration, some dehydration, and no dehydration. Don't write severe dehydration, moderate dehydration, and mild dehydration. It's something. It's not the WHO classification. Okay, you have to while writing the classification of the dehydration, you have to write severe, some, and no dehydration, and you have to write the plan ABC, which is recommended by World Health Organization. That is the standard that we follow everywhere in Nepal, in India, in Bangladesh, and other countries. Okay, and even in the Western countries, they do that, they follow this. So in case of some dehydration, if you see, it's not that difficult to remember. Here also it's quite similar to the previous one. See, if the infant has low weight or another severe classification, then you have to give the same one dose of amphetamine. So this is called loading dose. You give first dose of amphetamine genta, so that the child may have some type of coverage, and then we send them to the higher center with the same advice to the mother, like keep giving ORS, continue breastfeeding, because mothers, they don't feed their child. So you have to breastfeed the child. But if the baby is unconscious, this thing will not work. You have to refer urgently only. Okay, but however, when this question comes to you, you have to write all these things. Okay, advise mother to continue breastfeeding. We assume that the mostly the children are lethargic only. Okay, advise mother to keep the young infant warm on the way to the hospital. And if the infant doesn't have any severe classification, then you have to follow the plan B treatment, and send them home and ask them when to follow up. That is usually within 2 days. Okay, and if there is not enough signs to classify as some or severe diagnosis, there is no any signs and symptoms. Oh, there is no any signs and symptoms. Okay, then you have to there is no dehydration, so you just give the plan A treatment, and advise mother to return home immediately, and how to treat diarrhea at home, and ask them to follow up in within 5 days. If not improving, that is, if the child improves, then they don't have to come back also. Okay, and there is some terminologies called severe persistent diarrhea, that is diarrhea lasting for 14 days or more. Okay, if the child is having diarrhea and it is lasting for 14 days or more, then that is called severe persistent diarrhea. Then you have to give first dose of intramuscular ampicillin and gentamicin. That is if infant is having any other severe illness like low weight, okay, or any severe classification, then we have to refer to the higher care center and advise the mother to keep the baby warm, and to treat, and we have to treat to prevent low blood glucose sugar. Okay, because diarrhea for 14 days means there is loss of sugar, okay, glucose. So you have to make sure that the baby is not hypoglycemic during referral. Okay, so maybe dextrose one bolus should be given. And if there is blood in the stools, that is severe dysentery, so we have to give first dose of ampy and agenta if there is another other severe classification as well. If not, refer to hospital. Advised to keep the baby warm, treat to prevent low blood sugar. So this is quite similar both. Okay, so this is how the chart looks like, and this is provided to all the health centers, and they just have to follow this. What to ask, what to look for, everything is given. Then classification, treatment, and what is diarrhea in young infant. Even the definitions are given. Okay, like this. Okay, so similarly, okay, this is not recommended these days, these things, because ORS is available in all the parts of the country, in Nepal also, in remote areas also. Because when we say that put 6 spoons of sugar, and half spoon of salt, and and add this into 1 liter of clean and boiled water. So usually, they take, some takes tablespoon, some takes teaspoon, some take just at the level of the spoon. Some take one big heap of sugar, so it never gives a good accurate composition. So and Nepal government has made sure that ORS is available in all the parts of the villages. I mean, in all the remote areas it is available. I hope it is same in India also. So these are the treatment plans. WHO treatment plan A. That is, plan A is for no dehydration. That is, you have to treat the diarrhea at home. Just a second, okay? I need to. Oh God, I need to bring my. Whenever the baby wants. If the child is on breastfeed, keep giving that, and along with the breastfeed, give ORS. Okay, and other. And if the child is 6 months and above, you can continue the other normal feeding. Okay, along with that, give ORS and give zinc supplementations. Okay, for 2 months and above. So not for this young infants, but for the 2 months and above children, and continue breastfeeding and tell her when to return. Okay, that is just to assess whether the child is improving or not. So WHO treatment plan B is for some dehydration. So for that, some dehydration means the child is having is showing some signs of dehydration. So you have to give ORS over 4 hour period. Okay, quite a little. I mean, rapidly you have to give for the first 4 hour, which is 200 to 400 ml for a child. Okay, whose age is less than 4 months or whose weight is less than 6 kg. Okay, so there is a formula for this. How much OR is to be given within 4 hours if a child lands up with the some dehydration. So you have to ask the child's weight. You will obviously weigh the child's weight, then multiply it by 75, and how much, whatever the amount comes here, you have to give that within 4 hours. Okay, and you have to calculate in such a way that it will, you have to give parentally, so intravenously, within 4 hours. And if the child wants more, sorry, I'm talking about ORS. Okay. Oh, ORS my orally I have to give within 4 hours. Okay, and if the child wants more, you can give more. There is no any restrictions. Okay, and after 4 hours, you have to reassess the child. Reassess means you have to see, the whether the child is still irritable or not. The child is having sunken eyes. The child is, you know skin pinch. You have to check, and then you have to reclassify the dehydration, whether the child is still having some dehydration, or the child has um, gone into severe dehydration, has developed severe dehydration. You have to assess. And if the child is perfectly normal, now then you have to begin feeding the child at the clinic itself. Okay, and ask the child mother to give the ORS and other fluids. Okay, that is for some dehydration. First, you have to replenish the depleted fluid within 4 hours. Okay, then you have to reassess, and you have to whether according to the severity of the condition, you have to follow the plan A or C. The C means to treat severe dehydration. So your child may be unconscious or child is very lethargic. So you have to start with the intravenous fluid here. Don't write intravenous fluid in the no dehydration and some dehydration. It is for the plan C only, for the severe dehydration only. You have to give, through intravenous. And if the child can drink, okay, if the child is conscious and fully awake, then you have to give the ORS by mouth, along with the IV fluid. Okay, and how you should give IV fluid? You have to give 100 milliliter per kg of the body weight of baby. Okay, you have to multiply, you have to find out, okay, how much kg is there. And first 100 ml you have to give the here for treating severe dehydration, the solution that is given is Ringer lactate. Okay, Ringer lactate is the best. It contains sodium, potassium. and some glucose also. And if not available, then you have to give normal saline. Okay, we don't give dextrose over here. Okay, just ringer lactate and normal saline. And you have to give like this: first 100 ml per kg, not first 100 ml kg. For example, the baby weighs 6 kg, then 600 ml. Okay, you have to calculate. Then first 30 ml per kg in first hour, in first 1 hour. Then after that, remaining 70 ml per kg in 5 hours. So total 100 ml per kg. So you can do it like 600 30 भनेको 30%, 6 out of 600, 30% given the first hour, for the first hour, then the remaining 70% in the next 5 hour. Okay, so total time is 5 hours 30 minutes. So after that you have to reassess. So not after that, during that time also you have to reassess every 15-30 minutes. Okay, this is how you have to treat. This is the treatment plan ABC for treating dehydration according to WHO. So next one is assessment of feeding problem and malnutrition. So here also the chart is given. Okay, so you have to ask the mother, like, is there any difficulty in feeding? Is the infant breastfed? If yes, how many times in 24 hours? They say at least 8 times they have to be fed within 24 hours breastfeeding. Okay, and does the infant usually receive any other food or drinks? So these questions has to be asked when you are and if yes, how often? Okay, so, and what do you use to feed the infant, whether bottle, spoon? Okay, you have to ask. Then you have to determine weight for age. So for determining weight for age, you have to measure the mid upper arm circumference, and accordingly you have to assess whether the child is suffering from severe or mild or moderate malnutrition. Okay, so you know how to measure everything. Okay, and then you have to assess breastfeeding. For that, the questions to be asked are: has the infant breastfed in previous hour? Is the infant able to attach to the nipple? Okay, and you have to look for the attachment. Like, you have to ask the mother to breastfeed the child in front of you to see whether the baby is able to suck the milk or not. So yeah, for and the child should have good attachment. The attachment means, and when the child's chin should be touching the breast of the mother, mouth should be wide open, and lower lip should be turned outside, and more areola should be visible above than below, just like here. Okay, this is the wrong procedure. So your mouth should be widely open. Okay, and the chin should be touching the mother's breast, and lower lip should be turned outward, and more areola should be visible above than below. This means the child is having good attachment. Okay, then only the baby will be able to suck properly. Then, if the infant has not fed in the previous hour, ask the mother to put her infant to the breast. Observe her breastfed for 4 minutes. If the infant was fed during the last hour, ask the mother if she can wait and tell you when the infant is willing to feed again. So, main point is you want to see, whether the baby is able to attach properly or not. Okay, how the mother is feeding the baby. Is the infant able to attach? So you have to classify accordingly. No attachment at all, not well attached, good attachment. Is the infant suckling effectively? That is, slow deep sucks, sometimes pausing. So you have to see if the infant is suckling effectively or not. So effective suckling means the baby is suckling slowly and taking deep sucks. Okay, and taking pause in between. So, and accordingly you have to classify: not suckling at all, not suckling effectively, or suckling effectively. And clear and blocked nose if it intervenes with breastfeeding, and look for ulcers or white patches in the mouth. So child may present with mouth thrust. So because of the mouth thrust also, they may not be feeding properly, and that's why they're having feeding problem. Okay, so for checking the feeding problem, you have to see how is mother feeding the child. If the mother is using the right technique, okay, then what other problems are, you have to figure it out. And if yes, look and feel for. So if there is white patches in the mouth of the babies, and you have to look and feel for the flat or inverted nipples. So if the mother's nipple is flat or inverted, then also the child maybe having these ulcers, okay, or sore nipples. The infection may be transmitted from the mother to the baby, and engorged breast or breast abscess. So these things you have to look after Okay, if you find ulcer or white patches in the baby's mouth, and the mother, does the mother have pain while breastfeeding? You have to ask all these questions. After asking all these questions, now you have to classify the illness. So if the child is not able to feed, or no attachment, or not suckling at all, or very low weight for age, then you have to classify the baby as not able to feed. So maybe the child is having possible serious bacterial infection or severe malnutrition. So here in IMCI you will find combined, I mean more than two illnesses as a one classification. See here, not able to feed, possible serious bacterial infection, or severe malnutrition. And accordingly, so we for the group of the problem, we provide treatment. So this treatment will treat all these problems. Okay, will take care of all these in etiologies. Okay, so first give first dose of IMP and gentamicin, then treat to prevent low blood sugar, then warm the young infant by skin to skin contact if temperature is less than 36.5. In newborns, they basically, if they are suffering from severe illnesses, their temperature falls. Okay, they become very cold. Okay, so we have to make sure that their body temperature is maintained. If they are very cold, their temperature is less than 36.5, that means they are having suffering from hypothermia, so you have to give skin to skin treatment. Okay, and while arranging referral, so this is for pre-referral treatment. Okay, you give one dose of antibiotic, you make sure that sugar level is okay, the baby is warm, and then you refer them to the higher center, and advise mother how to keep the young infant warm on the way to the hospital. So mothers, villagers, illiterate mothers, they are ignorant, so you have to teach them how to keep the baby warm, also how to swaddle them, how to wrap them with the blanket, how to keep them close to their skin for the skin to skin contact. Okay, and then refer urgently to the hospital. And if the baby is breast or not suckling, they're not feeding, or they're not no attachment, not suckling effectively, or less than 8 breastfeeds in 24 hours, or receives other food or drink, or moderately underweight, or there is thrush or ulcers in the mouth, or there is mother breast not or and breast or nipple problems in the mother. If all these signs are present, then the problem is, classification will be feeding problem or low weight for age, because there is lower birth weight. Okay, and the feeding problem is there because there's no attachment at all to the breast, not suckling, less than 8 breastfeeds. So you have to give accordingly. Okay, you have to teach them, how to you have to teach them the correct positioning and attachment. Okay, you have to make sure that the baby is suckling properly. And if breastfeeding less than 8 times in 24 hours, you have to advise the mother to increase the frequency. If the baby is receiving other foods or drinks, counsel mother about breastfeeding more, reducing other foods or drinks, and using a cup and spoon. If not breastfeeding at all, advise mother about giving locally appropriate animal milk, and teach the mother to feed with a cup and spoon. If trust is present, teach the mother to treat trust at home. Okay, I'm going quickly because I think this is quite easy to understand. So if breast or nipple problem is there, like here in this scenario, I mean in this classification, there is, the mother is having problem and the nipple also, so you have to treat that also. And if there is low weight for age, then teach the mother how to keep the young infant with low weight. Okay, and with warm at home. Okay, you have to teach them how to give the young infants warm, and advise the mother to give home care for the young infant, advise mother when to return immediately, and follow you have to tell her the general danger signs. If the baby is not feeding at all, if the baby is having convulsions and vomiting every time, and the baby becomes very low and lethargic and unconscious, rush back to the hospital. And if not, then when to follow up, that is usually for 2 days. Okay, and if the baby is having low weight also along with all this feeding problem, then we have to follow up. No, so for low weight only, yeah, the follow up should be within 14 days. And if for feeding problem with thrust, then follow up should be within 2 days. And if the baby has no feeding problem at all, there is not their attachment is well, suckling effectively, okay, everything is fine, then advise the mother to give home care for the young infant, advise mother when to return immediately, and praise the mother for feeding the infant properly. So you have to teach the correct positioning and attachment for breastfeeding. So I've told you, you have to demonstrate how to hold the baby, okay, with the infant head and body straight, okay, facing her breast with infant's nose opposite her nipple, with infant's body close to her body, supporting infant. Mother should support the baby's body like this, okay. This is the right positioning, and this is the right attachment. This is, I've already told you, this is the right attachment. Because young mothers, and for the first time, if they are becoming mother, they don't know how to breastfeed their child. And to treat thrush, okay, also so white patches in the baby's mouth, you have to apply gentian boiled 0.25% paint twice a day, and the mother should be advised to wash hands and wash mouth, and then apply the paint with gentian boiled. Okay. Then comes the possible bacterial infection and jaundice. Don't worry, I will just talk about this and then I will stop. Then maybe I have some time because their classes, next class is one up after 1:45. So let's see. But don't worry, I will try to finish quickly. Okay. So for this problem, for possible bacterial infection jaundice, everything is given. Just have to, chart is there. You have to ask. Has the infants had convulsions? Count the breaths in 1 minute. Okay, repeat the count. Look for severe chest indrawing, nasal flaring. Listen for grunting, and look for bulging fontanelles. So grunting is a sound that is, is abnormal, high pitched sound which is heard during inspiration of the inspiration. Okay, that means the baby is having breathing problem. Okay, and look and feel bulging fontanelle. Look for pus draining from the air. Look at the umbilicus, whether there is pus is draining from the umbilicus, because you are looking for the possible bacterial infection and jaundice. Okay. In bacterial infection they have this problem, okay, grunting, flaring, chest indrawing. They have the symptoms similar to ARI. Okay. And then whether the umbilicus is okay or not, whether there is skin pustules or not. Pustules means rashes with pus. Okay. And then you have to measure the axillary temperature and see whether the baby is lethargic or unconscious. You have to look at the baby's movements. Are they less than normal? And you have to look for the jaundice at palms and soles. Okay, they become yellowish in color. So accordingly you have to fit it. So if the child signs says the convulsions are present, or they're fast breathing, that is 60 breaths per minute or more, or there is severe chest indrawing. Chest indrawing means when you breathe in, and you just breathe in, your chest will move out. Okay, your whole chest and your lower chest wall and abdominal wall will move outside. But in case of this bacterial infection, when they breathe in, their lower chest and abdomen, they will suck in, they will move inside. That is called chest indrawing. Okay. And nasal flaring, that is, when excessive axillary muscles work. Okay, when there is breathing problem, then there will be nasal flaring, there will be grunting sound will be produced during inspiration. Okay, there will be bulging fontanelle, and 10 or more skin pustules, or a big boil means the खटिरा पानी खटिराहरू पस भएको खटिराहरू है. And if axillary temperature is more than 37.5 or less than 35, so both, more than normal and less than normal is you have to is severe. It will tell you that the child is having severe problem. Okay. And hyperthermia and hypo is both is not okay for the babies, and whether the child is lethargic or unconscious. So if these signs are present, so not all obviously, but if these signs, most of these signs are present, they are saying that all signs will present. This is not all, but okay. So let's say, so in possible serious bacterial infection, all these signs will be present. Okay, since I have not been posted to primary health centers and health posts, I don't know, but according to start, the child will land up with all these signs. Okay, then you have to classify the baby as possible serious bacterial infection, and you have to give first dose of MP, gentamicin intramuscularly. Then you have to treat to prevent low blood sugar, make the baby warm. Okay, and then refer it. And while on the way, during referral, advise mother how to keep the infant young and refer urgently to the hospital. So this is chest indrawing. This is normal. See, the baby is breathing in, and the chest is moving out. Okay, here it is going in. it is going in, it is going in. Okay, the child has enjoying if the lower chest goes in when the child breathes in. So this is called severe chest enjoying, because accessory muscles, because there is the effort required to breathe in is much greater than the normal. Okay, all the muscles are working hard to breathe in. Okay, that's why. So if there is umbilicus is red, or it is pus is draining from the umbilicus, then that means, and skin pustules is only less than 10, then the child is having local bacterial infection, then you have to give oral antibiotic like cotrimoxazole or amoxicillin for 5 days, and teach mother to treat local infection at home, how to clean it. Okay, and how to and then follow up in 2 days. So jaundice, this is jaundice. You know what is jaundice? Yellowish discoloration of skin, sclera. So you have to check the palms and soles here. We are not talking about the sclera here. Okay, in this IMCI, we have to check the palms and soles of the baby. If it is yellow, and if the age of the baby is less than 24 hours or more than or equals to 14 days, the child is having severe jaundice, and you have to treat to prevent low blood sugar. So see, this treat to prevent low blood sugar is coming everywhere. So you can just write it down. Okay, and keep the baby warm by skin to skin contact if temperature is less than 36.5. Do you know what is skin to skin contact? Kangaroo mother care. Anyway, I'll be talking about that in my upcoming slides. Okay, and advise mother how to keep the young infant warm on the way to the hospital, and refer urgently to the hospital. And if the palms and soles are not yellow, then obviously then I don't know, palms and soles not yellow, but how it is jaundice, I don't know. Okay, advise mother to give home care. I think this is no jaundice, this should be no jaundice. Okay, advise mother to give home care for your infant. Advise mother when to return immediately and follow up in 2 days. I have taken this from the book, I'll just cross check it. Okay, but this should be no jaundice. Okay, because there's no science. Then the temperature is between 35.6 to 36, so it should be more than 36.5. Okay, to be normal. So if it is between this between, I mean, 35.2 36.5, then the baby is having low body temperature. They are checking the jaundice over here. See, this is red, this is yellowish. This is how you have to check. So if there is low body temperature only and no jaundice and anything, then you have to warm the young infant by skin contact for 1 hour and treat for low blood sugar. Okay, so how to give the oral medication also at home? You have to teach the mothers or mother or father or whoever the uh, caretakers are. First, you have to teach them how to, you have to demonstrate how to measure a dose, and how to feed the child, and you have to ask the mother to give the first dose to her infant in front of you. Okay, how to give, if this tablet, and how to give syrup, how to give, and how when to finish the course. Because sometimes, in even in I mean, when I sit in the immunization OPD, the mothers come and they bring the antibiotic bottle, and they tell me that I've been giving this medication to my baby. So I asked them, for how many days you have to give this. For suppose amoxicillin is supposed to be given for 7 days. So they say, I don't know. Pharmacist told me that the whole bottle should be given. As long as the medicine is there in this bottle, the whole. I mean, all the medication is until the all medication is finished. You have to keep giving it. So it's not so. You have to tell them for 7 days only. You have to give, whether the medicine is finished or not. Okay, then you have to give it, and if it finishes, then you have to buy another bottle. If it is remaining, but still, if the dose is over, you don't have to give it. So mothers, they don't know. So you have to tell them the course of treatment. So this I will be talking tomorrow. Okay, this possible hypothermia. No, I'll finish it. Okay, is it okay if I finish it quickly? This hypothermia, I think it's pretty okay. Anyways, I'll do it next time. So next time, I mean on Tuesday, we are meeting at 3 p.m. Is it okay for you all? My dear students, is it okay if I meet you
Yes,
at 3 p.m.? Everyone, from 3 to 3:45 or 5, I may be taking class. Okay, so don't worry. First half, I'll be finishing up all these lectures. Then second half, second half, it will take only a half an hour, and there's some interesting videos for you. Okay, so just sit with your snacks, tea, and